Okay. So, hey everyone, we've got Jeremy here, one of the legendary clients of the Darren Academy. He's an incredible part of the family and excited for you to just share. I'll be asking you a few questions, excited for you to share your journey with everyone who can really hear your story.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. I really think there are a lot of people out there who need help, and I know for myself, the whole program has been a huge transformation. So I'm happy to share, and I hope it helps other people find their way forward.
Yeah, hey, thank you for sharing. So, as a starting point, Jeremy, what was the biggest, let's go from the beginning. What were the biggest struggles? Where were things at for you before this whole thing here?
Yeah, well, I think the big wake up call for me was I had COVID this year in January, and I was just so exhausted and tired. I constantly felt my heart racing, and I had all these fears about, was something really, really wrong with my health? And I think there'll be some people who can relate to this. I'm a single father. I was in a straight marriage for many, many years, and my kids mostly live with me. So I was also just concerned that if I wasn't in good health, would I be able to look after my family? Would I be able to have the energy for my kids that
Yeah.
they need? So I could be a really involved and active dad. So that was kind of the initial motivation, was wanting to fully recover from being sick, but also just kind of reclaim ownership of my health and feel like I was doing something proactive instead of just letting life happen to me.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. So that was the first motivation there. And um, is there anything else that, in terms of struggle side of things, aside from health, that you
Yeah,
noticed?
I mean, I so I'm an academic, and working in universities is actually interesting. A lot of these contracts are really short or not very well paid. So I have been without full-time employment for over 4 years, just kind of putting gig work together. And so another big factor for me was trying to really kind of think about how I could mentally change enough that I could get my career mojo back, really, and
Yeah,
feel confident again in the workplace. And uh, that's actually another area where I saw a lot of growth throughout the process,
yeah,
was thinking of myself professionally, and the confidence that I
that I
gained
gained.
made a huge difference.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. And what would you say were the any doubts or skepticism before starting?
I definitely had some big doubts. First of all, I was still mostly closeted when I started. So I was only out to my ex-wife, my kids, and a couple of very close people.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the rest of my family didn't know, my parents didn't know, work colleagues didn't know. So I was hiding.
Yeah,
I grew up really religious, so I was very ashamed of being gay. I felt like it was wrong. Or even if I didn't still feel completely that way, I didn't accept myself as a gay man. And I was just worried in a way that, it sounded so good to join the program and be supported by other gay people. But on the other hand, I thought, well, maybe it won't really make much difference.
mhm.
Um, but for me, it was one of the biggest reasons I joined, but it was also one of my areas of biggest doubt. And then when it came to kind of thinking about mindset work, affirmations, meditation, stuff like that, I was again skeptical, partly because of my religious background. I was afraid either it would seem cheesy or I might feel kind of triggered by stuff from my past.
Yeah,
So those were some
yeah.
of my big concerns going in.
Mhm. Yeah, so the doubt side of things, the background, being closeted. What about for the body transformation side of things, and the confidence or any of that?
Yeah, well, there were definitely some big issues there, big, big doubts. And again, I think this is a little bit more rare. I've never been overweight in my life, but I've been
Mhm.
underweight at various points. I've always felt kind of like uh weak, very embarrassed to go work out, really self-conscious. I hadn't been in a gym since maybe second year of university, so it had been a long, long, long time
Yesterday.
since I had been there. Yeah, it's been a year or two, or 20. Um, So yeah, I think I really didn't 100% believe that I could actually change my body in a way that would be noticeable.
Hmm.
I did feel like I would at least get stronger
Hmm.
based on past experience and that I would feel healthier. But
Yeah.
that was kind of like a pretty low bar I set going in.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily have a lot of confidence I could achieve more than that.
Hmm. So you came in here thinking that this is where things are going to get to, and you were okay with that.
I was
And
okay
that's
with it
fine.
because I felt
Yeah.
like things were so bad, like my marriage had fallen apart. I had no proper job. I had kids living with me 5 days a week who needed me. I was sick. I kind
Yeah.
of like was hitting bottom in a way.
Hmm.
Even though I already felt my life was better having gotten out of a difficult relationship, um, it's still, I was not in a great place. So to me, even thinking like I'll be healthier, I'll have a bit more energy and I'll get a bit stronger, that was pretty great.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. With that in mind, let's go to the exciting part. How has your body, life, how have things changed since?
Yeah, well, on the body side, I mean, if I look at my photos from when I first started the program to now, it's pretty shocking. I've never had a body like I have now. I mean, I'm fitter now than I was at 20, which I never expected to say as someone who's now 43 years old,
Mhm.
um, and taking care of kids and working all these jobs and stuff. It's incredible. I've got like actual pecs for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
I'm getting decent abs. I've got nice tone, um, and
Yeah.
get lots of compliments from various guys in the
Yeah.
dating scene, which has been a bit embarrassing, but also a really great problem to have. It's been wonderful. People say nice things to me all the time.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, the body transformation has been incredible and far more than I would have expected.
Mhm. And you've done amazing there, Jeremy. So that's incredible. And what about other aspects of life?
Yeah, well, I would say on the professional fronts, I remember when I first started the program, maybe like a week before, I had turned down work that a mentor had offered me. She said, we have this class you could teach. I think you'd be great. And I said, no, I'm not really qualified to teach that. And I want someone who knows what they're doing for the students. And then I started the program, and maybe like 2 months in, I saw this thing on LinkedIn that there was a company hiring local trainers. So I thought, well, I'm not really doing this field, but let's just see what they're doing anyway. And they offered me
Mhm.
work. It wasn't really my area, but I just said yes. I thought, why not? I like students. I'm a good teacher. I
Yeah.
can do this.
Yeah.
And because of saying yes to that, they gave me more and more and more work. I
Hmm.
said yes to doing some private lessons with people as well. And I've managed to create like a huge amount of regular, steady income for myself. So I have savings for the first time in a decade.
Wow. Yeah. So before you were struggling with unemployment and now having savings for the first time.
Yeah, I have so much work I have to turn clients away.
Yeah. Wait, what a
That's
great
my
problem to
son's
have.
coming home. So there might be some noise for a second. One moment.
Yeah, go
Might need
for it.
to Hey buddy, I'm in an interview right now, so I need you to be quiet for me, okay? I'll close the door and be right back.
Easy.
Just a little edit there.
Easy, buddy. Easy. Easy.
All right.
Yeah. Um, that's incredible. So the work side of things, what about sexuality side of things and that sense of embracing who you are?
Yeah, I mean, that it's hard to describe how guilty I felt. Um, every time I'd have a date or meet some really nice looking guy, I would just have it was almost impossible to be in the moment. It was almost impossible to enjoy the experience because I felt so bad about myself, so doubtful. I
Yeah.
didn't know how any guy could be attracted to me. Um, and I would say that over the course of just, again, I think just the fact that I was taking control of my health and fitness, seeing real progress in the gym, learning to be assertive, like, hey, can I use this bench? Are you done with it? that was a
Yeah.
huge thing for me.
Yeah.
So, learning to like want things, ask for things, do things myself, to be more proactive. And it's kind of something from feminism, but this idea of taking up space, I think a lot of straight guys are quite comfortable taking up space and making their presence known. As a gay person, for whatever reason, I was always kind of like shrinking into myself in public spaces,
Mhm.
not wanting to be a problem, not wanting to cause issues.
Yeah.
And so learning those things actually meant my dating life has been quite radically different.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm much more confident going out. I got to go dancing for the first time in a club because I got married when I was so young. I was underage for clubs.
Yeah.
So, had my first ever, dance floor kiss this year. I mean, silly stuff. Like these are really late milestones, but it felt wonderful. I'm going on my first trip with another guy this coming
Wow.
week. So these kind of things that I'd only dreamed about before, they've happened. And I mean, it's a bit embarrassing to say, but I've turned down a lot of like date opportunities just because I'm very busy and have kids and stuff. But I mean, you can't ask for a much better problem as a single guy.
Yeah. Actually turning days down now instead. Yeah.
Yeah, not because there's not anything wrong with them, but just because it's literally, I can't date every night. I have to make
Time's limited.
decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the coming out side of things?
Yeah. So about 4 months into the process, I was getting near my birthday and I just decided it was really important to finally tell my parents. I tried having a conversation with them several years earlier. It went really badly. And I just knew that this was a huge psychological barrier for me, wondering what happens if I tell them.
Mhm.
So I called them up and told them, I needed to talk to them both. I told them that, I know, I've divorced and some of the reasons why that happened. I said, but one of the reasons that it wasn't possible for me to reconcile is because I'm gay and I don't plan to date women. I'm not, they'd kept asking me about when I get a girlfriend or something like this. And like, there's not going to be a girlfriend.
Mhm.
I hope I'll have a boyfriend or a husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely that's the goal. I want a nice guy to settle down with and spend life with. But the conversation, in all honesty, it was very difficult. They did not react great, although they said they love me. I've had
Mhm.
very little contact with them since then, but not none. But despite those things I can't control, their actions, I felt like just me finally embracing myself and thinking like it doesn't matter if they approve. It doesn't matter how they feel about this. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And I actually like being gay. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm happy that I'm
Yeah.
this way.
I love it.
That was a huge mindset shift. Like it made such a difference in the rest of my life being able to come out to my parents. Now I feel like, everything else is easy. I came out on LinkedIn on National Coming Out Day in the US
Yeah.
because I
Wow.
wanted to advocate for people.
Yeah.
A couple
Powerful.
weeks earlier, we'd had Pride, and one of the guys where I work was like, you don't support those people, do you?
Yeah.
And I live in Finland right now, and it's a very equal country, with very good gay rights. But even here, there are people who, if they think you're straight, will say stuff about gay people.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So I felt like, it's time to stop being quiet. There are a lot of people like I was stuck in the closet for various reasons. And the way that I can help them to
Mhm.
not go through what I did and wait so many years is to be out, to be unashamed, and to just be open about what the experience was like for me. So that's what I'm trying to do now is advocate for other gay people, especially closeted guys like myself.
Yeah. I am so inspired by you, Jeremy. And I know people listening right now would be very inspired by you too. And just thank you for sharing all of that. Last couple of questions is um, who would you recommend to do the program as number one?
Mhm. Well, honestly, I think any queer person who feels like they need community, who wants to take ownership of their body, of their mindset, of their kind of future trajectory in life,
Yeah.
um, they are someone who would benefit from the program. And the main thing I would say is that you need to be open and coachable. When I first started, the process was very uncomfortable. I didn't want to be in the gym. I didn't want to do free weights. I didn't want to have to like ask the big burly men to leave the weights so I could use them too. Jared kind of pushed me, you pushed me to just take some action. But if you can get past the discomfort and if you can coach and really listen and be open emotionally and spiritually and mentally, then I think it's a perfect program.
Incredible, incredible. And what would you recommend? What would you say to someone who's struggling with their confidence? They feel they don't deserve it, struggling with their sexuality, in the same boat as you in the beginning. So they're having their doubts about whether it's possible for them to change their bodies and change their lives.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I would just tell those people, you are not a mistake. The way you are is not a mistake. In fact, it's beautiful. And when you embrace that, this thing that's held you back or that's been a burden on your life can be the thing that makes you different and better. I think, I realized that a lot of the empathy I have for people who are somehow bullied or marginalized comes from the fact that I was gay and felt different my whole life. And this thing that seems so awful was actually one of my greatest strengths. And I think helping each person realize that out there, that, you know, this thing that seems so terrible is actually something which can make your life better and help you make an impact on other people's lives. It's a gift. I think that's absolutely essential to realize.
I feel I'm moved by you, Jeremy. Thank you for sharing all of that. And I know a lot of people this is going to really resonate, and I'm just so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank you. I'm very grateful for the whole experience. It's been a total life transformation. It's difficult to put into words how thankful I am for you and your coaching and also for the whole community, all the other guys and ladies who've been part of the process. It's been such a phenomenal experience and just worth every single bit of investment I made in every way. I'm so happy that I said yes to this and took a chance on it because I don't regret it one bit.
Hey, and I'm super excited for everything going forward, Jeremy. And thank you again.
That's my pleasure.
Mm.